Rivers. What are they? Where do you find them? And what do they do? I am Kim Jong-sok, and this guy is Dr. Abhav the Jain.
So, where does the journey start? The journey of a river starts at its source. Today we are going to be talking about the upper course of a river. In the upper course of a river, the gradients are steep and the river channels are narrow. Vertical erosion takes place because of the high velocity of the river caused by its gradient. The river therefore carries more bedloads such as large rocks and pebbles, thus causing vertical erosion. The result of these typical features include the formation of a V-shaped valley, interlocking spurs, gorges, and waterfalls. Where I am standing now is the start of a river. It may look small, but this is the start of a really big river. The soil here is really moist, as the heavy rain it receives is absorbed by the soil. When the soil becomes insoluble, the excess water soon forms a stream. As the stream gains speed, it cuts down the landscape to form a V-shaped valley. When a river runs over different types of rocks, a waterfall may form. The diagram shows the formation of a waterfall. Number 1 is the soft rock is undercut. This leaves a layer of hard rock which overhangs the layer of soft rocks. Number 2 is eventually the overhang will collapse due to the erosion of the softer rocks. And number 4 is then the water retreats upstream, forming a gorge. An example of a waterfall is High Force in Northumberland, one of the most popular waterfalls in England. The waterfall itself is 20 meters high. The waterfall was formed when the River Tees crossed over a layer of hard rock called windsill. The waterfall is made of 2 types of rocks. The upper is made of windstone, which is the hard rock to erode, and the lower one is made of limestone, which is easily eroded. This creates a plunge pool beneath the waterfall. As the limestone gets eroded, the windstone is left overhanging the waterfall. Eventually, the overhang will collapse. This process of erosion means the waterfall will continue to retreat upstream, leaving behind a deep gorge. The length of the gorge is about 700 meters.
So now we'll be talking about the middle course of a river. The middle course has a medium water depth, medium river bank, and medium velocity. I will be talking about a few landforms, example meanders. They are sinuous winding curves and a bend of watercourse or a river. Meanders are most commonly found around the middle to the lower course. They are formed after the stream erodes on the outer banks and the valley becomes a bit wider. When there's lots of deposition and erosion taking place, then this will turn into Oxbow Lake.
Now we're going to talk about the lower course. The lower course of a river usually has the mouth. It is the place where the river enters a lake, larger river, or an ocean, or where the load gets pushed into the sea. All rivers have this. As the river flows, it picks up debris from the bank, including sand, gravel, rock, and also human debris. The river mouth is where all of this is deposited. Since a river mouth usually has quite a large load, the river is slowed down at this point. The mouth of the river is often a good place for fishing, because along with the load, the river also flushes out a lot of fish. Knowing this, big fish wait here, which makes it an ideal fishing spot because there's a sort of buffet of fish for fishermen to catch. The dam is a method of hard engineering solution to flooding. The dam is a huge wall built on the river channel to hold back flooding water. Water is held back behind the wall and is drained out slowly. Besides holding water, dams are also used to produce hydroelectric power, which might bring economic benefits to the country the dam is built in. Dams also have a big problem with them. Dams are really expensive and need a lot of material to be built. They also have negative impacts on the environment. The area the dam is destroyed on people If the area the dam is in explodes, people are forced to move out. This also means animals are affected and the whole ecosystem is in a crisis. Lastly, if a dam fails to stop water at one point, a lot of stored water would be released, destroying anything in its path. China and India is currently where a lot of dams are built, such as India in the Tehri Dam in Uttarakhand, which is one of the biggest dams in India. River zoning is a soft engineering system to prevent people being affected by floods. It's basically a system where people are not allowed to build on floodplains, which means when there is a flood, a naturally occurring one, nobody's going to get hurt, and the ground will soak up most of the water, making the flood less bad, because a lot of floods are caused by urbanization. This is good because it keeps a lot of people safe and protects the environment at the same time. But it also means we have less space to build things, which means less urbanization and less societies.